We'll edit that out. Welcome to Journey Through the Eyes. Wait, hold on. Welcome to Journey Through the Eyes, the EMDR podcast that is here to unveil and explore the transformative power of EMDR therapy. Our mission is to support both seasoned and new clinicians with those critical conversations and the resources about EMDR therapy in the journey of building your own beautiful private practice. I am one of your hosts. I'm Tamara J. Brown. I am the CEO and founder of Arise Psychotherapy and Coaching Services, PLLC, here in the beautiful city of San Antonio, Texas. And I am so excited to introduce to you my co-host, Miss Kathy Couch.
I am Kathy Couch. Thank you, Tamara. You're my beautiful colleague and friend. And I'm here in Twin Falls, Idaho. And I'm an EMDR consultant. And I also love teaching and learning. And I'm the owner of Rewired 360, the teaching community for EMDR therapists and clinicians, and Willow Creek Counseling, where I provide patient care and EMDR intensives, and couples intensives as well. So we're so excited to be here. It's taken us a long time to launch this episode and this podcast. So we are so excited today to bring this content to you. It's been a manifestation for a long time. So here we are.
Yes, I'm so excited and so grateful. And just to be able to be in this setting with you, and then knowing that we're here and we got a powerful intention, right? To be able to provide and build community and community safe support and empowering for both the new and the seasoned professionals that are in the mental health field. And so I'm so excited about us having these powerful conversations just about EMDR, the clinician's growth journey, business building journey. And I'm so excited just to be able to introduce this beautiful, beautiful community that we're building, for us and just for those who are going to connect and who also need to hear
Yeah.
these conversations, right?
Well, it started because you and I just began having these conversations, and we thought, we had a vision. You talked to me about vision and mission and all that stuff. And it's like, yeah, we have a vision together, a shared vision of how we can take these conversations and manifest light and good information to people who might not know all the details. So I think that this is a awesome mission that we've come together on to be able to do that. I also want to let the listeners know we have everything Tamira has said, but really the added thing that we offer is vulnerability and real conversations. We'll be talking about ethnicity, culture, race. How do we talk about that together with clients? We'll be talking
Mhm.
about intensives. We'll be talking about business building, finances, which people struggle with. We have just lots of juicy content, but they're real conversations. And we're hoping to let you in on that.
And I love how you said that, right? Just setting the tone for this space that we both hold as sacred and powerful because we have had those talks together about just the real life journey of what it looks like to be a clinician, to
Mhm.
be human, to juggle multiple roles while you're trying to build your practice or just build yourself in this field. And I'm so proud. I gotta be honest. I'm proud that we've made the decision,
Yeah.
and I'm also honored to offer this and have this conversation with our community and our listening audience. That you and I together, we basically have decided we're not going to do the performing, and
Mhm.
that we were really going to allow ourselves to be present, to be transparent, and to offer the wisdoms and the support, in a safe and an empowering way for all clinicians. And I got to tell you, I celebrate, both you and I on having this courage because right now in the world, I love how you mentioned culture, race, all the things. And you and I are a beautiful reflection of togetherness and solidarity, in unity, in support, in collaboration, and that we're so much bigger and so much greater than some of the societal messages that we can often receive, And so I can't wait till we have, just be able to have those safe, powerful, insightful, and sometimes even tough conversations, right? But that we're doing it in a atmosphere of love, compassion, and total respect and regard for just the humanity in every single clinician, both the new and the seasoned, right?
The understanding, right? We want to have that understanding in the space. When I began, so I'll just kind of tell you my journey.
Mm-hmm.
When I came into EMDR, I thought, and I saw the magic of it, right? I'm like, oh my gosh. And so I started doing it. And I'm a twin mom. So I have twin boys that are
Mm-hmm.
3, and then I have a 6-year-old. And I thought, I want to create a place where they can know that mom's making a difference, what's my why, and also build a successful practice that can be a legacy and change people's lives. And so I started EMDR training, not knowing any of that would happen, even the twins.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My second weekend of EMDR training, I was pregnant with the twins, and I didn't even know I was pregnant
Oh
with
my
twins. I
gosh.
had no idea it was twins until I was like 5 months in.
Wow.
And so then what happened was I wanted to be certified, and I'd heard of EMDR. And so I started being certified and then became a consultant. And then this last year in 2023, developed Rewired 360 because I saw it. I saw that we could lead clinicians in a way that could take the stress out.
Mm-hmm.
So many times clinicians coming to me wanting to be EMDR trained through EMDRIA, the EMDR International Association, going like, I don't know all the requirements. I have to do this. I have to do that. We're so
Mm-hmm.
programmed to meet the requirements. I thought, let me make this easy. We'll do a curriculum-like setting. I took my background at Boise State and said, hey, I got you. Let's do it together. No stress, no pressure. But
Mm-hmm.
what I want you to have is an experience, right, of being certified. What's the experience like? Not just check off the boxes, but what's the experience? And then through that and offering programs, I met Tamira, and we just zinged, just like on that movie Hotel Transylvania, where they just zinged,
Yes. Yes. I love your story, you know, and I want to
It's up
attune
there.
us to what you just shared because I think a lot of times, the world around us is spinning and it's so busy and it's just so easy to get caught in the noise. And even though that we as clinicians coming through grad school and everything, we get trained to listen, but sometimes we got to pause and realize
Yeah.
the level of listening. And when I hear your story, and I listened to you, how you just beautifully shared, you know, getting a start in finding out you were pregnant with twins as you starting out on this journey. And I can't wait to have those woman conversations for women clinicians, right? Who are mothers, because it's important, right? It's important to acknowledge that, gosh, here I am on my professional growth journey,
Yeah.
and then I got to share my body with not one other person but two, and looking at, wow, look at your perseverance, look at your love for this field and your passion, because I can only imagine the strength, the focus, the determination, and the level of care, not only for you but for the babies you are carrying while you're taking the journey, and then you enter this field with so much value. And I think a lot of the times, I loved how you talked about just your expertise in coming and working with Boise State and all that. I think a lot of times we don't slow down enough to give ourselves credit for the academic accomplishments. We walk the stage and all that, and we get our degrees and we may post them on the wall, but do we really slow down? And when you think about you as a expert and as a growing leader in this field, that you got us covered. If we're moms and pregnant mom, you can share wisdoms on that. If you are just trying to figure out your confidence, and you can look at your own track record, and you can tell us, hey, remember your education.
Mm.
Remember, you are credible. Your license validates, because I know a lot of us as clinicians, we forget and we second guess, because that whole journey going through college is just a ton of information that our brains don't really get to process. And so when I hear you and I hear how you now, all of that is integrated into what you're birthing, both in your private practice and in the university. Because for me, my journey was a little different, mhm.
You want to share about your journey?
Yeah, my journey was, you know, is a little different. And it was and I just gotta say, for, some of us as we're coming in, and again, you know, I'm a woman of color coming into the mental health field. And my experience was, I finished grad school and I was a licensed chemical dependency counselor when I got started in the field. And that is a whole experience in itself that was really rough when I look back at it. But then when I started finding out, and this is, I want to give a little encouragement to those who are supervisors and those who are helped to groom new rising clinicians, to kind of slow down and begin to think about attuning with them, because I had help and support, but nobody was telling me, you get to choose basically all these therapy models. You don't have to stick with cognitive behavioral therapy, or you don't have to go with rational emotive behavioral therapy. But there were new therapies. I stumbled. I just so heard, not that anybody was talking to me, not that anybody had mentioned it. Okay. I heard the term EMDR and I went to a supervisor who didn't look like me. And I was trying to ask her, hey, what is this? I'm hearing this. Can you tell me? Because I had heard she was trained and certified in it. And she told me, it basically, she said, it's too much for you. No, just you stick with doing what you're doing now. And she wouldn't even have the conversation.
Can I intersect there for a
Mhm.
second? And I had a similar experience, only mine was with gender, not race.
Wow.
And so with gender, it was the white male, going to that person and saying, I'm hearing the EMDR, people are calling and asking, are you EMDR trained? And I had been interested in trauma for a long time. I started my career in child welfare for 5.5 years, working with law enforcement, removals, those kinds of things. And then I transitioned to substance abuse, where I ran a substance abuse program, and then community mental health. And by the time I got to community mental health, I knew enough about trauma.
Mhm.
With those groups I was running in the substance abuse program, it felt like there has to be more than leaving these patients with this open brain. It felt like they were just activated, and I couldn't
Mhm.
on like this ethical dilemma, right? And it was an evidence-based intervention, and I thought, well, it should work, and in my core, right? Not in my being. That was in my
Mhm.
being,
Mhm.
right? So I asked him, what about this EMDR thing? And it was just invalidated, like, oh, you don't really need to do that. That's not something for you. And so by the time I got to the hospital where I worked at next, there was a grant where a company came in and trained us all, thank God.
Wow.
And so that's how I got my start, because I knew I wanted to do that. I was going to the board of the hospital going like, tell me get trained.
Right.
And the male perspective, the gender, the race, kind of do intersect with the gatekeepers, right? So you and I are transforming that as
Mhm.
gatekeepers, as a white female, an African American female, holding our space together to create those conversations about those things that matter, and that, create the unspoken, make it spoken, um, here, in this environment, are just critical.
Yeah, and I can appreciate, and I can only imagine what that felt like in that moment, because I know for me in that moment, Kathy, I was like, did she just on the sly,
Yeah.
like, just dismiss what I asked her? And this is a supervisor who's supposed to be coach, nurturing your vision and your passions, right? And so that is my encouragement too, just for those clinicians who are in those supervisory roles, that begin to take time to refresh why you're in the role, and then begin to think about new ways of nurturing curiosity for those that you are supporting and helping, because I know how easy it is, to get in the room. It's just like the cow meal, if you will. Okay, here's next. Don't do this, don't do that. But we got to begin to embody, right, who we are as mental health professionals, and that we really are here to nurture, cultivate the overall growth and well-being of those that we're serving, including the supervisory of the students who are going to become the next leaders in the industry. And I just want us to, I'm just hoping that our intention in the work we're doing will help to begin kind of shift the tide and the patterns with that. But with that being said, because I am who I am, and I'm one of those people that I don't just accept someone telling me what I can't do.
Yeah,
I
I
need to
know,
go
right?
find it. So I had to go do Dr. Google, and and it took me, that happened in 2018. It took me 3 years to find someone who was willing to have the talk with me about EMDR. And it was when I started working with a private practice, and I asked, what is EMDR, because the practice did it. And that supervisor sent me to the EMDR Institute, which was incredible. And the whole journey has changed and transformed my life. Because like you said, we're here to support our clients. And as a substance abuse counselor, I'm what you call a dual licensed therapist, right? And with the substance abuse folks, I didn't have a lot of language and understanding about trauma, because in the communities that I was working in, and this again, we're going to do lots of great conversation on training and ethics and therapy models that can change the landscape of how we do therapy. Um, there was not a lot of conversation about trauma. Instead, it was more of a therapy model that was more based on will, just the medical model in the will. If your client isn't doing this, it's because they don't want it. But something didn't sit right with me about that, because who's going to come to therapy over and over if they're not really trying to better themselves, but something is missing. And so this is another reason why I think your vision with the EMDR Institute and all the amazing things that you are doing and that I am aiming to do is going to help to begin to fill those gaps, right? To help things make sense for clinicians that are both new and seasoned, because there's some seasoned clinicians who still don't understand why their clients are not able to break through. But it's because, we need more of a holistic approach for some of our
Yeah.
clients who have gone through some really tough
And what I want to
adversities.
say, we can feel those experiences very deeply, right? There's two
Hmm.
schools of thought here I have on this. One is spiritual, and the other is more of an organic. And the spiritual is, maybe we weren't ready for whatever point the universe said, you're not ready. And so I kind of also accept that. And at the same time, they gave us a gift. They gave us this motivation to, um, I don't know, show them,
Hmm.
and show
Hmm.
them to say,
Hmm.
okay, I get you,
Hmm.
and I'm going to go ahead and do this. And so to the community, you can go to people that will tell you, you can't be a trainer, you can't be certified, you can't do EMDR. And what I want to impress upon you is you can, and we're here. And this is a community that supports you, because all those things that Tamira said about creating the supervisors and being conscious about that, you know, we don't have we have control over what we are and who we are, and spreading that information, but there are people that aren't aligned, right? And so
Hmm.
what do you do when you meet with someone that's not aligned? And don't let that sway you from your mission. I always tell Tamira, this isn't a training, it's a mission. And that's the
Hmm.
key to what the EMDR training was.
Hmm.
It turned out to be my mission, right?
Hmm.
And so
Hmm.
don't just stay the course, ask the questions, do Dr. Google, meet with several clinicians. If you meet somebody that doesn't vibe with you, it's okay. And
Hmm.
want you to have the experience that's going to teach you that you are valued and that the services that you provide are valuable.
Hmm. Oh,
Mm.
you just gave us a delicious nugget. And what I just heard and received from you was, we're on a real life journey, and we may find those who are not aligned. We may find those experiences that are unpleasant, but we can take those experiences, turn them into stepping stones, okay, and use them to continue fueling our purpose and our passion to get where we're going. Those challenges become our opportunities. And again, it's the whole spiritual universe. And isn't that the beauty of the universe? Is that when we run into problems, if we can see them as opportunities for us to begin to move towards solutions in a positive, loving,
Yeah.
compassionate, and empowering way. And so that's the nugget. Take those challenges and don't just stare at them as problems, but look at the opportunities that are waiting for you if you take the journey through them.
And if you and I go back to those moments and we had those conversations, right? Just have compassion for yourself because I don't know that I could have seen it as a missed opportunity then for that person at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And it may take some growth and it may take some time to get there, to create that opportunity mindset, but don't give up on you.
That's right.
You are your mission. I know I want to treat trauma. I have to figure this out. That's how I, how I got here. When I came in and I started doing this EMDR certification, I thought there has to be a better way to be certified. I don't want this energy of like I have to check off, do my 20 hours and do my training and the consultants work with 5 people and how do I do the post. So I went back to college,
Mm-hmm.
got a business class, got a marketing class, and I learned how to do it,
Mm-hmm.
And that's
Mm-hmm.
what I'm sharing is like, if I don't know it, I'll figure it out. And now I'm able to share that with the community. And so that's why Rewired University is a curriculum like setting. You get certified, you get approved consultant. Let's help you
Mm-hmm.
become a trainer. What are your values? Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you just want to do intensives, or maybe you want to start a training on somatic experiencing or moms in EMDR. Like we want to help you develop who you are so that you're happy and you thrive. And
Mm-hmm.
my slogan is rewiring how therapists learn, lead, and thrive. So that's the learning. It's the curriculum setting, getting rid of the frenetic energy. How do you lead? Take that and lead with who you are, and ultimately create a thriving life. Like
Mm-hmm.
I am, and that's your culture and your brand. And I want that for people. I want them to
Mm-hmm.
be their brand and live it and love it.
Mm-hmm. It is so tasty, just you know the whole venture. And if we are able to just be willing to kind of move into a place of surrender with our
Mhm.
journey, and realizing that, you know if we can hold on to our dream and why we became therapists in the first place and what our hope was, these some of these experiences, or the waves that we kind of got to navigate through, they're all going to lead us to where we're trying to go if we can just kind of surrender. I
Experience
am.
really important. I don't mean to interrupt you. I want
No,
to,
go ahead.
you said it before, and I want to make sure I get on this point here.
Hmm.
There's a video I just ran across, and it's on YouTube. It's by Simon Sinek, and it's called Start
Mm,
with Why. And he wrote a book
yes.
about starting with why. And when you have people that start from within, that are on a mission from within to change something versus people that are doing it for corporate profit or because they want to look good or those kinds of things, people feel that. And when
Hmm.
you yourself start with your why, those other things will fall into place. But I believe in generosity and promotions and giving, and healing people quickly. With the EMDR, I
Hmm.
can see that and creating long-lasting change. And so, be ready when people
Hmm.
ask you, "What do you do?" Don't tell them what you do. Ask them, "Why do you do what you do?" That will create a exclusive dinner table conversation
Isn't
right.
it?
What do
Ooh.
you do? You go to dinner. What do you do? Where do you work? No. Why do you do it? Start with that.
Hmm.
Reflect on yourself. Get their mission,
Hmm.
right?
That brings to my mind the word self-starter. Even if I rewind the tape on something you said that I thought was brilliant, and it was the fact that, you know, when we're coming through college, in my brain, so the way my brain is set up, when we coming through our learning curve as clinicians, right? we rely on our teachers, we rely on our supervisors, and all of that is healthy and is a part of the journey. um, it's like we want to make sure we are aware, conscious of our interdependence, right? And not just fully relying. We got to be a self starter. Everything starts with self, from the journey to what you don't know, what you can't find out, what people are not really. You may have to be proactive and go do Dr. Google, get that clinician's book, or search until you find the answer, because the answers are here. But then also, just being able to start and realize your journey, your growth, what you're building, what you're manifesting, it starts with your reason why. I know that my practice, Arise Psychotherapy and Coaching Services, here in San Antonio, Kathy, I have been a coach and a therapist. And let me tell you, and this is going to be a beautiful conversation. I had so many people telling me you can't do both, do one or the other. And my spirit, my soul couldn't receive that. But then I also, because, we don't come through college with big business background, I was like, but both feel like that's who I am.
Yeah.
You're telling me what I can't do, but I'm trying to communicate who I am in my being. I'm a coach, which means I believe in teaching and empowering and guiding.
I have a funny story, Tamira. I want to share with you about that realization within you. We have our meetings and we talk together, and Tamira's coming to me talking about, I don't know what to do and what should I do? And I said, Tamira, don't you have your coaching certificate? Well, yeah. What are you doing with it? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm not. And it's like, Tamira, that's your value. You need to, incorporate that. And I remember that conversation so vividly. And you had a light bulb moment. And it's like, we don't have to recreate our identity. Like, even I went through that myself. Like, when I went to EMDR, I'm like, what is my niche? I don't know what my niche is. I'm going to do Gottman, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to do grief, all the while doing EMDR. And I realized, oh, duh, I'm certified in thanatology. I love grief and death and dying and bereavement. Oh, that's who I am.
You see, and it was that moment. And this is why I, you, who you are in the space you're creating, and you know how you and I are behind the scenes. And I'm always giving you what is due to you because of the value offered. And when I say to you, you help me to become who I am now becoming. And it was that conversation. I went and rebranded my whole brand because I was like, I can be both and merge the both. And and at the heart, and the reason why I wanted to, my why was because I knew what it felt like. My whole practice in both the therapy and the coaching school is about healing and empowerment and helping women to find their voice, helping women to really no longer view their mental and emotional well-being and their physical well-being as if it's an option. It's not an option. It's
Yeah.
not a luxury. And so that is at the heart of my why, because I've lived my life from that, not knowing that, self-care and the whole mind body thing and how important that was and being able to live that thriving lifestyle. And so it was that conversation that helped me to pivot and helped me to now boldly and confidently build the space and the practice that I'm now able to serve, the women folk in my community and abroad through coaching. And I'm telling you, it's a delicious conversation in a moment when you have someone who is no longer telling you what you cannot do, but they hear, hey, no, this is who you be. And I think that we've got to, and I love how we rock because that is more of our conversation. We know and we get the doing and what we as clinicians and business professionals all the doing, but we're here to serve our community and serve ourselves and helping us to get into the being. Let's
Yeah, it took the
embody
hustle
this
out of it,
thing.
didn't it? Took the hustle
Yes.
out. for you. And you had said, I have a whole coaching school. I'm like,
Mhm.
girl, come on, let's get that
Mhm.
going here,
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
those are the things, that we have to also navagate within ourselves sometimes as we're figuring this out, But I
Mhm.
want everyone to know that we've been there. We
Yeah.
still are there. We haven't arrived, but
Mhm.
those are the important pieces that we need each other for.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And I think that, this has been a very delightful conversation for me. And I'm sure for those who are in our listening audience who are just ready to get off of the hamster wheel and get out of busy brain and begin to slow down, right? To hear a podcast or hear a conversation about the actual journey without all of the performing and without all of the other stuff. And I think that today's conversation, not only for me, but some other clinician that needed to hear this, that we're just being reminded, right, that we're on a powerful journey and that we matter and that our reason, our why we're doing what we're doing. Why are we women who are pregnant and then go on a journey and still choosing? What is that? What is that magic? What is that fire? What is that light? What is that flame in your soul
Mhm.
that kindles and that moves you towards that no matter what is not okay in your life or whatever challenges? And that's the sweet spot, right? That's the delicious spot, okay, and that we are journeying perfectly imperfect into.
And I
Okay.
think what you're saying is very important because we're talking about getting out of our cognitive and into our body. What feels intuitive? What feels magical? What feels abundant and happy and joyous to you? And do that. That's my mantra. Do that.
Yes. And give
And
yourself permission to do it and
mm,
be it.
and
Yeah.
when Jamir and I were coming up with this idea for this podcast on what should we call it, we had said journey through the eyes, and we just, that's the EMDR, but it's through the eyes of the clinician, the
Mm,
client. We want to
yes.
offer that brand so that you're really getting you're getting your connection, and we're hearing you, and you have this place that you can come to with all the questions, and you don't have to worry, right?
Yes. So amazing, so beautiful, and such a delightful conversation for today. And so I'm just so excited about being here. I'm excited about where we're headed. And so let's make space, right, to talk about how folks can connect and the good, juicy stuff you have on the horizon that you can share with us before we wrap up for today.
Well, I also want to hear all what you're doing too with this coaching school and the program because um, it's been super awesome. My
Yeah.
mission right now is to help clinicians get certified and become approved consultants, which is a business component in addition to certification in that university type setting. So, individuals, groups, trainings. I'm offering advanced trainings for grief and loss. I'm going to start working on in my community. We had been trained about 5 years ago when I was trained, and we don't have a refresher here. So my job, my mission is to create that live event in my community in Idaho, but also offer that virtually. And I've heard clinicians struggling like with ethics and documentation. How do I write
Hmm.
a note, and what are some of the ethical concepts? So those are some of the trainings coming up in 2024 as we launch our podcast. And then I have lots of workbooks and tools. I'm all about tools. I have a research background. So I love some tools and assessments to be able to help you, create a space where you can have a toolkit. So I have a case conceptualization kit right now that we can offer. And I'm working on my marketing for therapists practice. And I'm submitting my application today to be a
Yay.
CEU provider through NBCC. So hopefully I'll be able to offer MDRIA credits and CEUs. So hold the light for me on that one. I'm excited for that. And we have our
Yes.
trainings for grief and loss coming up January 19th and June 6th.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I mean, oh man, does that sound powerful and delicious? And we want to make sure that our listeners get access to that and be a part if they know that something like that can serve them. And of course it will, because I know it has for me. And so thank you so much, Kathy, for sharing. Um, Amazing. I on the other side of the lane down here in the South, I am so excited because for me in my practice, again, that clarity about why I'm doing what I'm doing. And I'm currently, just focused on really, really advocating and supporting, getting the message out about EMDR and providing EMDR intensives, especially for women who are moving and wanting to overcome trauma, anxiety, and so much more so that they can grow and thrive in life. And so we're doing some amazing things with EMDR intensive, both for the individuals and couples as well. So I'm excited about that. And with the coaching school, because, I had to really lean into why I built it in the first place, right? And
Yep.
I did a launch program 2 years ago, and it was good and successful, and I learned a lot. This time around, I'm so excited to say that in January I will be launching, right, the new school in for open enrollment for trauma informed life coaching. And so I offer a therapeutic model that we're going to be training folks in, because coaches are a part of the wellness field, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that coaches, we need, because coaching isn't regulated, so anybody can wake up and call themselves a coach. But I think that my role right now in my mission is to help educate and help to empower those who desire and aspire to be coaches with trauma informed information, and helping them to not chase the bag, but to realize coaching was always has been designed about empowerment, health, and growth of the human beings, not just to try to get them to some point. So my mission here right now is to really advocate into kind of change and make some new tides in the realm of the coaching field that are already happening, that I'm proud to say about. Because I don't know if you know this, but in the mental health field there's some clinicians and coaches sometimes bump heads. And so I'm really grateful about being able to build a bridge, for those who want to be coaches and who are therapists and all the things. So we'll be launching our new enrollment in the month of January. So I'm excited on
How do they
having that
enroll,
on the
Sharon?
horizon.
How do they enroll?
Yeah, well, what's going to happen is that they'll be able to go to the website, arisetherapist.com, and there will be an active page for those who want to be a part of that program, where they can join and enroll and take part of the live sessions that's going to happen with yours truly. Okay, so we're super excited, and that the school will kick off in the month of February.
Good for you. That's so
So excited.
exciting. Look at you.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. And so we are so grateful and so glad to be here, and thank
Yep.
everyone for sharing in their conversation. And so, Kathy, you go ahead on and take us out and close us out. Make sure you tell them to click that subscribe button.
Well, so what we have coming up is more information on our mission, values, what is EMDR, the path from becoming basic trained to be a trainer. We're going to be having coming out of college conversations, what it means to be a woman, EMDR retreats, tailoring your intensives, how to do marketing, how to do business, how to do branding. So you can expect all that content right here on Journey Through the Eyes podcast. You can reach us both at our websites. Mine's www.rewired360.com. We're hoping to launch this hopefully in December. If you are listening in December 2023, I have 20% off at my website for certification and consultation in my advanced training. But check it out. We have an awesome blog. We want to do this podcast. We want to get our content out there. So we just really appreciate all of the clinicians here. Feel free to reach out to us at any time. Kathy at rewired360.com, and I'd be happy to help any kind of questions that you have.
And so that takes us out. And so blessings to you all. Stay safe, stay warm, stay well, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Take care.
Take care.